Yeah. Good morning, Anderson High School, and welcome to this special edition of Carlos and Carlos in the Morning. These are my co-hosts, Carlos, and our guest star, Paul. Today we're going to be talking about the injuries that occurred in Week 10 of the NFL this weekend. Jay Cutler's out with a concussion. Ben Roethlisberger is out with a sore shoulder. Michael Vick and Alex Smith are both out with concussions as well. And we're going to be talking about which one of these injuries affects the teams most this week. Carlos, how do you think Jay Cutler's injury affects him playing the San Francisco 49ers with Alex Smith? Both questionable for this week's game.
The Chicago Bears offense isn't very good this season. I feel like the only reason why they have the record they have is because of their defense. So I feel like him not being there isn't going to affect their offense as much as if it was Alex Smith, for instance, because I feel like the offense for the 49ers is a lot better than it is for the Chicago Bears. So I feel like having Alex Smith gone is more painful for the 49ers than it is for the Chicago Bears. What do you think?
I'm going to have to agree because the Bears have been a little bit off pace in terms of offense this year. So without Jay Cutler, that's probably going to hurt their offense even more. And San Francisco's they've been all right with their offense this year. So,
yeah. I feel like I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I think Chicago has playmakers like Brandon Marshall and Matt Forte that I feel like without Jay Cutler being there, they're still going to be able to step in and win this game against San Francisco this week.
49ers have their playmakers at running back.
That's true,
Frank
but
Gore.
I feel like that system is made for a quarterback like Alex Smith, and Colin Kaepernick is too young to step in. They've been using him for the Wildcat situation, so I feel like Chicago is a better backup situation.
But wouldn't you rather have Kaepernick instead of Jason Campbell? I feel like Kaepernick, he's more mobile in the sense that, and he's also learning, I feel like, a lot quicker than Jason Campbell is. Jason Campbell, I feel like, is just a backup quarterback. I don't think he's any more than that. And Kaepernick has a chance to be a starting quarterback.
I feel like as a backup quarterback, your job is to give the ball to your star players. And I feel like Jason Campbell has a better opportunity to do that because Brandon Marshall is such a big target that the throw doesn't have to be right on target for him to get it. And I feel with Alex Smith, their playmakers are all revolved around him, and that team is really all centered around him, that Chicago is going to be hit harder. But moving on, we're going to be looking at Ben Roethlisberger playing, and they're going to be playing the Ravens this week, and we all know that if the Steelers win, they will be the head of that division. So what impact will Ben Roethlisberger have on this game?
We watched the game yesterday against the Kansas City Chiefs, and when Leftwich came into the game, everything just kind of came to a halt for the Steelers offense. And, if it wasn't for their defense, they probably wouldn't have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Roethlisberger is something that offense needs to even just get anything started. Mm-hmm. Now that he's out against the Ravens defense that is kind of a little shaky, I think it's going to affect them quite a bit. The running game isn't very good. Rashad Mendenhall's hurt. I feel like actually everything but their wide receivers are hurt. I don't know if who are they playing against?
They're playing against the Ravens.
Against Baltimore. I think they're going to lose that game.
Well, since Ben is not officially out yet, if he is able to play, I think they will win because he is the key part of their offense, which actually provides team wins because he's the only person. Mm-hmm. Because their backup, I don't think he can do it.
So what I'm going to point out here is, Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches in the NFL at fixing up injuries. The Steelers are one of the most injured teams this year, and his philosophy has been, step up, do your job, and who's going to be the next playmaker. So what if we've been having some key injuries? Troy Polamalu's out, the next safety will come up and stay up, and they're still playing that great Steelers defense. We know the running backs are injured. Their backup running back has been able to step up and get a lot of yards. So I feel like they'd be really well off if they had Ben Roethlisberger, and I feel like they'd win this game. But even if they didn't, I feel like Mike Tomlin would be able to make a game plan revolve around the players that they do have in, and they'd be able to win this game. But it's going to be a close game.
I think if they do win this game, it's going to come down to their defense because the Ravens still have a really powerful offense.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, looking at the last quarterback that got hurt, Michael Vick, and there's been a lot of calls for him to go out with Nick Foles to come in. And so, who do you think? Do you think Michael Vick will stay the starter, or after he comes back from the concussion, or do you think Nick Foles will take it on from here on out?
I don't see Nick Foles starting. I feel like Michael Vick is going to be the one to continue maybe throughout the rest of the season. I mean, Nick Foles is still learning from Michael Vick. Michael Vick's still a quarterback. And like you said previously, it's his offensive line that's not helping him out. And if it's the offensive line, it doesn't matter who's in the back. I mean, you look at the Cowboys, Tony Romo is a decently good quarterback, but his offensive line doesn't give him a chance. I mean, he has the wide receivers around him. So I feel like it's going to be Michael Vick. At the end of the season, maybe he'll go to Buffalo. I'm just throwing out a team there. He won't be there at the end of the season. I can say that.
I think Michael Vick, if you look at just his numbers, it's up there with the elite quarterbacks of the league. His numbers and what he's able to do in crunch time situations, and like when the pocket's crumbling with all their offensive linemen is almost every play. It's amazing what he's been able to do with this team. And I feel like the owners especially don't give him or Andy Reid enough credit for what they've been able to do in Philadelphia. So Paul, what do you think in this situation?
I'm gonna agree with both of y'all. I think from a skill point of view, Vic is still one of the most elite quarterbacks in the league, and Nick Foles doesn't really have the experience to take over an offense with all the caliber athletes that they have. So I think Vic will stay starting.
But if you also look at Nick Foles, I mean, at the beginning, when he first started, when Michael Vick got hurt and he came into the game, if it wasn't for the Dallas's defense, I mean, I was watching his throws. They were not good throws. I mean, that touchdown that he had, it was like a 50-yard bomb or whatever. It was because the defense just gave up easily.
Yeah.
I don't think that
a problem the Cowboys have been having this year. Their defense has been rolling over a lot. I feel like it's very, very unfortunate what's happened to Philadelphia. They really didn't come together as a team as many people thought. They have all the playmakers to be a dynasty, but the chemistry isn't there.
Yeah.
So with that concludes our segment of Carlos and Carlos in the Morning. We'll see you on Thursday for a regular taping. Thank you for watching.